John Eustace has exposed Derby County's transfer plan as we head towards the first game of the EFL Championship up against Stoke City. Now, over the course of the past few days, it has been reported that Derby County have had a bid rejected for Sunderland midfielder Nectarios Triantis, as well as a bid rejected for Max Johnston from Sturm Graz over in Austria. Now, it does appear as if interest in Triantis is falling away, whereas interest in Max Johnston is certainly going higher and higher. Now, obviously, John Eustace has given his take on some of the interest across the course of this transfer window with Derby County's media team of BBC Radio Derby with Dom Dietrich and Ed Dawes. Now, obviously, it's really interesting to hear what Derby County are looking to do in the transfer window, and it's also interesting to take a look into some of the injuries that Derby County are facing heading into Game 1. Now, obviously, you can let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and if you have not done so already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell. When Derby County sign brand new players, should I make a video like this one, or should I do a live stream like I've been doing recently? I'm going to put a poll over on YouTube community, so if you haven't done so already, head on over there, hit live, hit video, let me know which one you prefer, and I'll catch you in that one. Now, obviously, for Derby, it's been a very good pre-season in my opinion. I think we've put in some really good performances. Obviously, there's a couple of dull ones in there as well, which we'll get into throughout this video, but I'm going to sort of take a quick look at the transfers that John Eustace has been discussing in the local media over the course of the last few days. Now, obviously, Derby County faced up against Atromias, I think it is, the Greek team, and we did a watch along over on the channel, which was obviously really good to get your guys' opinions and thoughts and feelings across the course of that final pre-season game as we head towards the start of the season. It's something that I'm going to look to carry on into this year. Now, obviously for Derby, we know over the course of the last 48 hours, Derby County have had bids rejected for Triantis as well as Max Johnston, and for me, very good deals on paper. Obviously, Triantis is a player who can play in holding midfield as well as a number 8, as well as part of the back line as well. And obviously with Max Johnston, more of that right back, but can also play wing back, as well as the occasional opportunity in central midfield for him. Now, obviously, when we're talking about Derby County making these moves, there is still money to spend, and that has been discussed by Radio Derby over the course of yesterday, and we're still being ambitious and we're still trying to make things happen according to Radio Derby, which is obviously a good move for us as we sort of look towards the start of the season, because if we look at the situation we're in at the moment, we don't have what you'd consider a senior right back apart from Jake Rooney. Ryan Niambi is sort of easing his way back to full fitness, but maybe won't be ready to start that next game of the season. So it's one of those where we're in a really tricky situation where we could end up with Isaac Gordon playing at right back, Jake Rooney at right centre back, but I highly doubt it's going to come to that if I'm completely honest. Now, John Eustace discussed Triantis, who is the Sunderland player who we reportedly have a £1.2 million bid rejected for, and John Eustace claims that as much as he is a good player, he's not someone who the club are currently looking at. He was then also asked a question in regards to Max Johnston, where he says he's an exciting young player, but gives that sort of line that you expect from a manager at this stage of the season, where he goes, he's not our player, which, to be completely honest, we saw this a lot under Paul Warne. We've seen it under many managers as well. Not many want to actually sort of give their piece and have their take on the players that could potentially be coming in and things like that until essentially it's signed, sealed and delivered. Now, I'm pretty sure Triantis didn't play for Sunderland today. I did talk about it within my watch along, but it's one of those where, as much as we maybe need a player like that, it's not exactly one that is in dire straits for me. Whereas if you look at Johnston, for example, I do believe that that's where Derby County need to improve. I think for me, I think Joe Ward is going to end up being a winger this season if he stays at Derby. And then obviously if you look at Kane Wilson, when he returns, he's only got a year left on his contract. Ryan Niambi has had his injury worries. So there's many different places where it could end up in regards to who comes in, who goes out and things like that. And that's obviously what we're going to have to sort of assess over the course of the next few weeks. Now, obviously, when it comes to those sorts of players coming in, I think in the respect of Johnston, I think you look at the money that we were potentially given in regards to Callum Britton of around £3 million at 28 years old, and you look at potentially bringing in Johnston, who's 21, a Scottish international, has already won leagues and has already played at Champions League level, and you think that's a brilliant move for Derby County, in my opinion. A much younger player who, at the minute, it looks as if that deal could happen for cheaper than the current bid that Middlesbrough have chucked in for Callum Britton, which for me is the right move by Derby County, and that's what this is all about. It's all about making that move to where Derby County are going to be better, not just this season, but also in seasons to come, whether John Eustace be in charge or somebody else, because we know how fickle football is. You never know what's going to happen across the course of the next few months and weeks and things like that, and that's obviously something which will need to be addressed sort of as the season goes on. But for me, you cannot, in my opinion, be that bothered, for me, about a potential Kane Wilson contract extension that hasn't been agreed, and someone like Joe Ward and Ryan Niambi who have struggled for injuries. You've got to focus on players that you can get fit and keep fit, and I think Johnston sort of fits into that category. Now, in regards to the Stoke game next week, Eustace says that he expects to have a couple of new faces in. Well, he says expects new faces in before the Stoke game. He says faces, so we can assume multiple, but we'll obviously have to wait and see on that one. Obviously, we'll keep across it all on this channel. But it's one of those where if we can get new bodies in, new faces in, I think we're in a really, really good position. And I already think we're in a good position after the performance today and the way we've been playing. And I also think that if you sort of look at sort of the team we put out and the players that weren't involved, I think we're in a very, very good position. Like, if you look at the team we put out today, Zetterstrom, Niambi, Rooney, Bart, Forsyth, Thompson, Kenzo, Jackson, Adams, Corey Blackett-Taylor and Carlton Morris. We had Dejan Brown on the bench. David Ozo, Josh Vickers, Ben Osborne, Andy Vyman, Joe Ward, Charles Abuka, all weren't even involved. Then obviously there was no Owen Beck, there was no Ryan Brewster, there was no Matt Clark, there was no Callum Elder. So we're in a position where I think we've got a very, very good squad that we're sort of building on. You've obviously got, who else is out injured? Langas, Selverson, Wilson, Nelson. Like, there's so many more players that you can add to this squad, and I think we're in a very, very good position. It was obviously really good to see Isaac Gordon get on today. I think he may find himself out on loan because I think he needs that senior exposure. I think he was really, really good in the pre-season friendly that they played yesterday, which I discussed in that watch-along. I thought he was one of the better youngsters who sort of came in. Dejan Brown had a couple of bright opportunities, but it's one of those where I think we're in an excellent position to take this club forward with John Eustace and things like that, because we are genuinely in a really, really good position in terms of squad depth, in terms of squad size. We're going to have so many players that can play not just one, but maybe 2 or 3 positions that are all very, very good quality. Now, obviously, I still wouldn't be surprised to see a couple of outgoings. We haven't really seen any, apart from Mendes Lang, really. If you don't count, obviously, the ones who leave on a free transfer. I don't think we've seen many sort of outgoings for Derby. Obviously, Dan Cox has gone out on loan, but that doesn't affect the senior team. Darren Robinson's gone out on loan, but that doesn't affect the senior team. So I still think players may be offloaded, but we're going to have to sort of wait and see how that progresses across the course of the next, let's say, 6 weeks or so. And well, it's not even 6 weeks, about a month now until the transfer window closes. But who knows what can happen until then. Obviously, you can let me know your thoughts down in the comments. If you have not done so already, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. If you have not done so already, hit subscribe, turn on the notification bell. Let me know your thoughts down below, and I'll catch you next time.